Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Misfits Muse. I'm Jason Odell. And and you're muted.
Zero.
There you go. It's all good. I need to mute some stuff here on my own side too. There we go.
I can't find
I'm
this back stream. I don't know why.
okay. Well, I've got it.
Yep.
So as people join the chat, I'll be able to see that as well. So how you been? We've been running around trying to do this stuff. Big exciting news of the day is that we have um well,
David
you
Graham,
set up.
Ready Grandma.
Yeah, You Ready Grandma's going to be joining us today for David Allen Graham. And his stuff is just freaking hilarious. It's awesome. So that's great. So we'll be delving into the world of satire and other topics with him shortly.
Post morning.
Oh yeah, it was freaking
Delicious and
hilarious.
funny at the end.
So, but the big news was is that we now have our own Substack, or you set it up so that we have the Misfits
Yeah.
Muse on Substack. And hey, Sandra, see you there in the chat. Good to see you. So we are desperately trying to let everyone know that this is going to be the home for these podcasts from now on. And that's where we're going to be. So what else is? I mean, eventually we will have more of these. But for the moment, this is for those who are new to joining the space. You want to talk about why we've created this space,
Well, we want to platform artists.
right?
Uh,
And by artists, we're taking the very wide view of that, right?
yeah, artists of all kind, like photography, drawing, writing, music, and people who maybe are a bit more obscure to the known world, and we want to. Oh, hey, this person's great. More people should know them.
Right. We have this wonderful. I mean, Substack has been rolling out all these features, this live streaming that just literally started just a year ago, really. Um, and it's really turning into this whole life of its own sort of entity. I love this idea of being able to see the people behind the accounts a lot of times,
Yeah.
at least for me, and also have a space that I like to think of it. I was thinking of like slogan or ideas. It's like an artist space. It's a hangout space for creatives. It's
Yeah, basically.
right. That's the mission, shall we say? And Shayla's on board. Hey, I gotta give
Hi,
the
Sheila.
throw Spock fingers. Because we just got back from our Star Trek cruise, so we're still on time zone shifted. But let's
I
join
love
in.
texts about that.
Yeah, and and then I feel guilty for having a vacation in these awful times. It's like there's so much turmoil, and it's like I had we signed up for it all before all this nonsense had started in the universe. But anyway, let's get David on here so we can talk and welcome him. So welcome,
Hey,
David. How are you?
hey, great. Thanks for having me, Neuro. Jason, awesome to be on here. I
Fantastic.
watched your first episode with, was it Cassandra? Is that her name,
All right.
correct? And I loved her poetry. So yeah, if anyone here hasn't been watching yet, I would definitely check them out. This has been fun to watch so far, and hopefully I can keep it entertaining for you.
Oh, I'm sure you'll have no trouble. Given what I've read from your your publication so far, that should not be a difficult topic. So just to start out, though, I mean, just because everybody's new here, not everyone may know you. So tell everyone about you, your Substack, when just how you got into this whole thing and what you're publishing, because
Sure.
I think it's pretty cool.
Thank you. So I think I joined Substack maybe a year and a half ago, just because I had seen a couple other writers and creative people posting about it on other platforms. But I've been doing satire since I was in college. I'd say it's been around 19 years now. So a long time. Definitely inspired by The Onion. When when I was in college, I went to the University of Wisconsin Milwaukee for most of the time, and I wrote for the paper there. But also, the Onion was actually physically in hand available, so you could pick up the Onion. I worked at a UPS store that had the Onion dropped off right in the front of it. I would mail copies of it to my friends. I was a big fan. So yeah, so I've been doing it for a while, and then a couple of years back, the founding editor-in-chief Scott Dickers started following my satire, and that was just the crown jewel for me. So
that must have been such a great feeling.
it really was. I'd applied there before and heard crickets, so then when he followed me, I was like, that's awesome.
You know, they talk about not meeting your heroes, but sometimes you want to interact with them at least, right? You know.
Yeah.
So how long have you been writing then? Just always just
writing. Writing in general, it's kind of funny because when I was growing up, I was really like kind of, you know, into sports. My parents were really into sports, and I played volleyball almost constantly. But I had a few like exceptional English teachers along the way in high school and in college, and journalism professors too, that really got me into writing and just expressing myself. And I kind of got pulled in that direction. So I'd say that that's kind of where it started. And then once I came across the Onion, I was like, oh, this is what I want to do.
Awesome. See, I didn't understand satire until I was about college age.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really problematic for me in advanced placement English in high school. We read A Modest Proposal with Jonathan Swift, and I just didn't get it at the time that I didn't get satire. It took me a bit. But once I understood it, and the structure and basically the format that you follow for satire, like not punching down, then I started to appreciate it more. So
as long as you're not certain publications, there's some publications out there like the Babylon Bee that you might argue does punch down.
I would disqualify that as satire personally.
I would say that's a valid statement.
I did humor study a bit at undergrad before I knew it was actually an academic thing. So in grad school, I did humor as part of my topic for my graduate work. And I actually presented at an international humor conference in 2017, Verbal Irony on Yik Yak. But anyways, one of the things that satire is in the broader umbrella of irony is structural irony. And it has something like unreliable narrator, for instance. But you're not necessarily using the unreliable narrator structure, are you? Or at least that's not what I'm getting from your last post that I read today. Can you tell us a bit more about your work and how you?
Yeah. So like I said, a lot of my inspiration when I first started was The Onion, and I'm not gonna lie about it. So I've tried to do my own versions of things or like spin-offs. Although I've seen a few things that I did before they did that they started doing, but I wasn't popular enough to claim that they stole it from me. But they love to do fake real estate listings now, and I used to do those, just like ridiculous short paragraphs about houses that are very improbable. It's a good time, but they do those now. But yeah, so I guess I've kind of done offshoots from like, oh, they do that. What if it was this, you know, where it's a different direction. But I've done things where it sounded like it was in the first person. I've done things that are like news articles, things that sound like scientific studies. It's just really whatever strikes me, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, I can remember seeing The Onion for the first time when I was in graduate school in the mid to late 90s. 2000, somewhere in there, and because the internet was starting to take off at that time, and we of course had connectivity at the university, and just thinking like, oh, this is hilarious, these guys are so good. Of course now we live in a time where sometimes you aren't sure if the headline is real or not.
Yeah.
And that sort of got me into, you know, especially when I was looking at some of your articles and you read it, Grandma, I was like, you know, if you came across this post and didn't know that you were a satirical writer, it could, it might take someone a moment, at least from just looking at the headline, before they realized that that this was satire. I mean,
Yeah.
today's post. You want me to read the headline from the post from? I think it was from this,
Oh,
or just earlier, the most recent
read that
one.
if he wants to.
Yeah,
You
I
can,
mean,
you can go for it. Go for it. Yeah, I
I
don't
mean,
have
so
it pulled. I don't have it pulled up. So
okay,
yeah.
I've got it right here, and it says Trump posts fat bastard. I want my baby back ribs clip with caption: Nobody loves babies more than me. And there's, I mean, and you have to be an Austin Powers aficionado if you don't know that, but fat bastard ate babies. He loved baby.
Yeah.
They're so tender and juicy.
Oh, you're good at that.
So the thing is, like, I know that you're a satire account, but with the nonsense that's been coming out of there's a
Yeah.
certain degree of plausibility there.
I think that sometimes it's okay, depending on what you post, if that problem and confusion is there, because if the joke is so innocuous in the long run, does it really matter at this point if Trump posted that? No, because if you're aware of what's in the Epstein files and what the government is actually doing, it doesn't matter if I say he posted the fat bastard video, really does it in the grand scheme of things. And then if you read the article, I always make very certain that people, if you take the time to read a few sentences, it's so absurd, there's no way it's true.
Right. Although there's been some absurdities lately, my friend. I'm just telling you, like, there's been some stuff that's absolutely absurd.
Yeah.
Absolutely absurd, but not true. Like a lot of our propaganda outlets and
Right.
whatnot.
Yeah.
But then
It's a
there's been some
problem.
absurd and true. So it's just like, I don't know. I never thought we'd be living in this sort of timeline. Does that ever
bad.
I mean, like, I'm curious though. I mean, it's got to make your job a little more difficult because you've got to go like truly outlandish.
It feels really different now, for sure. In the last, I'd say it's been increasing in weirdness since the first Trump presidency, but I think in the last year and a half, it's really accelerated to where I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but it feels like the lines have been moved for what anyone can do, whether or not that's a good thing. So yeah, when you say like the satire, it's hard to tell what is and isn't real. I totally agree with you. But I also think that the people that enjoy satire and take the time to read it these days, a lot of the articles that are out there are actually putting in the work. They're pointing out the hypocrisy, the inconsistencies. They're linking to actual facts. They're painting a picture for anyone that knows what's going on. And I think we need humor. Honestly, I keep telling people I'm getting by on a mix of spite, nonsense, and whimsy, and I'm trying to keep it balanced. And so I think we need humor, but I think we also need to pay attention to what's going on. So, some of my articles will be about very serious things with total nonsense all around it, but there's usually a point. Sometimes it's just, I don't know, I think Trump would probably post this fat bastard video, and it makes sense to me, and I'm posting it. I was sitting on that idea for like 2 months. Last night, I said to my husband, I don't know, should I do it? He's like, just do it. I think it's funny enough. And in my head, I was like, I think it's like a B plus, but I've posted things that are a B plus and they go super viral. So I said, let's just do it. So I don't know. Sometimes you write something or do something and you're like, it works for me, but it doesn't work for anyone else. And then sometimes it's the opposite. You're like, that's okay. And then people go crazy over it. So,
well, and I'm just scrolling through and there's a lot of, it's not just political stuff, although this one is great. I love this headline. 375 uninsured Americans save $86 million by sneaking into Greenland. Like, this is like quality stuff here.
That was the day that Trump said he was sending that hospital boat there, and Greenland's like, why? We have universal health care. Like, what are you talking about? And so in my head, I was like, let's say the boat gets there and there's Americans just in there waiting for health care. Like, so the Greenland just takes care of them. So that's what that article was all about. Where
seriously, sign me up.
Yeah, they still charged the Americans, but it was at reasonable rates. Imagine that.
Right, it was affordable. Go figure.
For sure. Oh man, we live in the twilight zone. I keep saying it, so I don't know.
Yeah, no kidding. So So you came. When did you come to Substack? Remind me when you started.
I think it was about a year and a half ago. And
Okay.
honestly, I did it that I came here after I didn't know what to do anymore because I used to have just shy of 250,000 followers on Facebook. That's where I started. Long story short, after a lot of time with Facebook messing with me, just like with, I mean, sure, you've heard all the complaints from everyone, so I won't get into the complaining, but
The
just
algorithm,
strikes and things that were absurd, that were totally nothing, that were violations for a couple of years. For a while, I was actually monetized, and I was, like doing well. Like I was about, I'd say, maybe a year from being able to do this full time.
Wow. Isn't
And
that just a
then,
dream?
yeah, it was a dream. It was why I was doing it. And so I was like 18 years in, and then I got a bunch of violations, then a weird hack. And I used to be able to get Facebook on the phone with me, literally on the phone with me, and talk to someone, get help. They ignored me. I sent notarized paperwork with proof they used to pay me. Like, that's my account. They would not give it back. I tried talking to them like 50 different ways. So I lost about 250,000 followers and 18 years of work about a year and a half ago. So I was
know
that
someone who
close
had
to
a
my dream, and it
similar-
was gone. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a
But,
colleague who had a similar Facebook thing, and it was like, you can't prove who you are. I'm like, how can I not? Here's my passport. Like, what more do I have to give you? And it was never good enough for them. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I sent certified mail, and I got a signature back that the lawyer or the legal team at Facebook has received all your proof that this is your account. They signed it, and then they gave me crickets. So
that's ridiculous. Well, given what we've all learned in hindsight about that platform, maybe it's probably for the better. I mean, monetization notwithstanding. Right?
Yeah. I have a group on there, a private group that's like got 9,000 people in there, and I keep that alive mostly for the sole purpose of keeping everyone in the loop of all the crazy stuff that's going on. I'll drop in stuff there, and then we also throw in memes, so we keep it a little bit light, but it's mostly people that want to stay informed that also want to have a few laughs. So
that's excellent.
Oh, you can have your audience built here. It might take a while, but I think you'll get a good following again. You're right. You're right. Very good quality.
Thank you.
Consistently amused by it, and some heavier hitters like Melissa Corrigan's a fan too.
Yeah, I was blown away when she subscribed to me. I was like, whoa. So, and she's given me a little boost here and there with like a post or a repost, and it's really, really awesome. So,
and I sort of, I don't know, wander around like a old Roomba. So I don't, some of the algorithms I fall into, but I wander a lot. So when she posted that, I was like, oh yeah, I remember, I've read this before, and I got back into your blog site and read some more.
I appreciate it. Yeah, she's really good. I enjoy her stuff. I don't know. I'm kind of getting into this like web of people I'm seeing that are connected, and it's really cool to just meet people on here. And like I said, I don't really have a lot of social stuff going on during the week, so I wouldn't mind talking more.
I hear you. No, it's an interesting place because I think we've all found our way over here for different reasons, and I heard about Substack from one of the progressive radio talk show hosts I follow, and he had a Substack, so I subscribed to it probably 2 or 3 years ago, but it wasn't really doing much, and I wasn't really engaged with it. And then it's like now it's sort of turning into this, potentially very good space. And I wish there was we were talking about this offline, this idea of, is there a morally ethical social media platform ever? Like what? And the only thing I can say about Substack is that it doesn't have, because it is monetized and it's subsidized by, because they do get a cut of paid subscriptions. That's fine, but you're not seeing ads in every second. You're not bombarded with advertisements, and for the moment, you're not the product. Like, they don't have any reason to make you, if something's free, you're the product, right? You're the, then you are being sold. So I don't know how that will continue. I mean, obviously you mentioned Melissa. I mean, lots of really good independent journalists, and in some cases, some of them are all of a sudden just completely taken off. It's great. So the potential is there for this. I think people are are willing to tune in. But I mean, even yesterday, I had to tell my best friend from college. I was telling him about a video I posted, and he said, "Now, tell me what Substack is again,"
Yep.
because he's all on Instagram. Like that's fine, he's there, but it's like, okay, it's just another platform, and I think this platform is really designed for people like you because you're a writer, and that's the whole. That was originally the intent of this place was for writers, right?
Yeah.
Right.
The comedy writer here, Lisa Lee Curtis, aka Vagina Devil Magic. I've known her more than 20 years at this point. Met her playing paintball, but I love her writing. And then I decided to post my own writing for like the 12 people I knew that wanted to read it. And I didn't engage until Banner and Backbone. And now I found this broader community like you all. And I think it's pretty great.
Yeah, I'm definitely liking it. I find if I get a notification that someone's live, I do try to tune in for a bit for sure. So, and I didn't really used to feel that way on other platforms. I've tried out other platforms for sure. I don't know if this one dinged you for naming them out loud on video, so I won't. But I've tried out a few.
Yeah, we don't know the mystical Substack algorithm. I mean,
I don't think that we do get dinged. TikTok does that.
Yeah, that was one that did for sure.
I've never been
swear on this platform. Hey, it's all good. Now, do you have a particular of your? Is there a particular article piece that is one of your favorites that maybe we can pull up?
Oh man. So really I've got a bunch of
Confederate statue one. That's pretty funny.
There's a stash of articles that are not on Substack, like I said, because I'm new to Substack. On youreadygrandma.com is where all of my old ones are. And so I was just thinking, like, for example, Mike Reese from The Simpsons, he was like the head showrunner for The Simpsons for several years. He liked my article on Lindsey Graham, but that's on youreadygrandma.com.
Okay, I'm going to put it in the chat so people can look.
Okay. Yeah, the Lindsey Graham one, it's about, there's more than one article about him, but this one's about a gay male escort saying that Lindsey Graham moans like Mickey Mouse. And yeah, Mike Reese, who, like I said, was the head showrunner for The Simpsons for years, he reposted it on X, or it was Twitter back then, and he said something to the effect of like, this is some of the most likable writing I've ever seen about Lindsey Graham, or something like that. And then he got some feedback to the effect of like, this is like not real. I can't believe you would post something like this. As like whoever replied to him didn't get the joke at all. And I think that Mike thought it was pretty funny. But yeah, that one did all right. That one's a decent one for sure. I don't know. I happen to just do pretty well with a lot of like LGBT themed or gay themed ones, I guess. Like I had what one was the Harvard one I just did, you probably saw, about the like figuring out that Harvard believes that, people in MAGA that are anti-trans are actually just really turned on and confused by it, and it conflicts with their personal morals, and so that's why they're angry.
Yes, and I'm going to read this because it's too good not to share. Because you coined a term. I don't know if that was your term.
But someone else might have said it before. But I'm going to read
this and I'm going to put it in the chat. This is too freaking hilarious. Let me paste the link direct into the chat. Headline: Harvard study confirms MAGA anti-trans hate caused by unwanted erections called uncontrollable boners. That's freaking hilarious.
So, I mean, it may be slightly juvenile, sure, but it's fun.
Yeah, but come on.
So yeah, I definitely had fun with that one. And then, there's a comedy writer, Carson Molnarek. He writes for The Daily Show. He recently featured me on queerty.com. This article is on Substack. It was the one about sugar babies in the gay community and how aging millennials can't afford to, get a sugar baby anymore. So that it's basically a reflection of our current economy in the United States, but just focusing on, that subculture of
there's
people who can't afford to get a sugar baby
to draw on. I mean, this is freaking hilarious. And I like, you got science ones. You've got ones that are science. I like the one on Pluto.
Pluto hasn't completed an orbit yet since its demotion from being a planet because it's depressed.
Right. Not to mention that its orbit is like however many
It couldn't by now anyway, but that quiet about that part,
I know, but that's and it's funny because last year? I don't remember when it was, a year ago. Everything's a blur. No,
Oh
this was
God.
it was probably like late 2024. It was like right after the election. It was like November or 24. I went up. We went to see Neil deGrasse Tyson, who's obviously just awesome, right? And his whole thing about Pluto not being a planet, because that's and his whole thing was just get over it. It's not a planet. Deal with it. It was really
the tough
funny.
love version of Neil deGrasse
Tyson. So that was very good. But I like that when you're in your. So you appear to be an equal opportunity satirist. I mean, you're not looking for just political things or whatever. Is there stuff that you draw upon more frequently, or what's your wheelhouse?
I mean, I think if you look through my articles, it probably is like 50% political, but maybe even higher. But
well,
I like to mix it up. Yeah, it's kind of hard to not hear it. I like to try to mix it up. Sometimes I'll want to write political, but I'll be like, you know what, I need a break at the same time. And so I'll just go look at some science news and see how I can riff off of something that's happened. I usually just try to see like how in my brain, what does this headline connect with something else, in the world that's silly, or how could you combine the two and make it relevant to today? So, sometimes I try to see like what in pop culture would mix with politics, or, whatever, just whatever can get people's attention from maybe different groups and pull them all into some weird story is always a good time. So,
yeah, I mean, there's certainly no shortage of political content right now. That's for darn sure. So it's like,
no,
I think the challenge is trying to find something that isn't.
Yeah. And then I think I kind of do head into, science stuff for that. Like I had one, I don't have an account there anymore, but I used to post like on like iFunny. But it's kind of really right wing in my opinion. And I had one go viral on there like maybe a couple months ago, and I think it is on Substack. It was about the interstellar object that was coming in that everyone was talking about, and there was that one kind of zany scientist saying, "Oh, it could be aliens," and everyone else is like, "That guy's crazy." So I just leaned into what that guy thought, and I had
is that the guy with the hair?
I think it might be. I don't know enough to be confident, but basically the interstellar object got close enough and then immediately changed direction, which I believe is what people thought had happened, but it was something to do with the light burning off, just made it look that way in real life. So I leaned into that and said that the aliens got close enough, saw our planet, said, "Ew, dirty planet," turned around and left. That they sent a signal that said it was a dirty planet and that they left. So that one did really well on that platform, like maybe 200,000 views or something. But yeah, so
I think your medium sort of is that written version of, in some respects, it's like a political cartoon, but deeper. It's different, like a good political cartoon, and there are some here in this space that are great. It takes a certain talent to be able to see something through a certain lens and look at it that way. Is that something you've always just been able to do? When did you figure out that you were kind of good at this?
Honestly, and this I feel like is kind of a similar thing for people that are in comedy. I think a lot of comedy comes from pain and seeing things from a different perspective. So I feel like growing up closeted and gay, in like a very sports world was incredibly hard. And I always felt like an outsider, and I always did have a different perspective because I, was struggling on my own. And so I think I've just been used to looking at things in a different way. And then when I went from being really right-wing, religious, conservative to basically having like a mini mental breakdown for like 2 weeks. And I wrote about this too, if you guys go way back to one of my earlier posts about this, but I became a completely different person once I realized the things I believed were true were totally not true. And it was like a mental breakdown. So I'm not surprised there's so many people these days that believe what they do, that are deep in MAGA, that can't change, because it will take a mental breakdown for you to change. Like, you need to stop believing things that set up the walls around your worldview. You will feel like, I felt like I was dissociating, and I probably was for like over a week. So I can't imagine what it takes for these people to change, and that's why I don't have a whole lot of hope for it. But there are people that are changing. So
I mean, I think you have to. It's tough because I think you want to embrace the ones who legitimately see their way out of that realm.
Yeah,
right?
and I think people can, but I think obviously they have to want to. If you start to see a crack in that worldview and you are in MAGA, you need to start looking for some more because they're everywhere. Just start dipping into some other sources that aren't the
inconvenient
same ones.
facts. It's
Not
everything
all of us already on this side are going to run you off.
Yeah.
I won't necessarily run someone off. If they're being hateful and bigoted, then I'm probably not going to get time for that. But if they come in earnest with like a mea culpa and I get it now. I see some, they're obviously showing cracks and having doubts. Then okay, let's talk.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to immediately run people off who even were triple Trevors.
Yeah. 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 And I mean, I can't speak confidently for, my immediate family though, but I know that my parents are for Trump, I believe to this day, but we don't talk politics anymore. But my sister, I'm not going to say, I don't know. So it's possible, but I don't want to speak for them at all, but that's just, I think I'm kind of the black sheep, but that's okay.
But you bring up a really good point. You came to that conclusion on your own. Whatever epiphany you had, and that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing, obviously this is not about satirical writing, but I'm seeing if someone leaves it, it's because they came to the conclusion after seeing something that was just a bridge too far. And because I find it's impossible to try to convince someone who's in that space otherwise, because they just dig in deeper. It's just not, it's not productive. So, because I have a friend who even from a Twitter person I met on Twitter, and they came on a trip with us one time. But they came to their own conclusion watching the daily briefings during COVID.
Yeah.
And she just was like, somewhere along there, it was like, this is nonsense. This is utter crap. This isn't really, are you kidding me? And that was for her. That's, and that's it. But I think you have to figure out your way to get there. But anyway, let's get back to writing. Nero, do you have any, what do you want to know? Because I've been asking all these questions.
I had something, and what often happens, because I'm really bad at group conversations, is like, I have the floor and then I forget.
Perfect platform for you. It's just excellent for.
So I need more practice, but so I forgot. Can you tell us about your most recent post, the fat bastard one?
Yeah. So I actually really liked those Mike Myers films when I was little, when I was growing up, and I watched them a lot. I'm pretty sure I own them. They're right on the other side of this door. And I'm pretty sure that my husband and I watched 2 of them back to back, like less than a month ago. It's not like we do it every month, but it's probably like a once every couple of years thing. I don't know. They're just goofy. They're funny. Seeing Mike Myers on SNL now was pretty great too. So I don't know. I think that when I saw the eating babies in the Epstein files, for a while since then, I was thinking like, well, what else is that in? Definitely Fat Bastard sings about that. And it stuck in my head for a while. And finally last night, it just popped in my head again. And I said, this is happening. Kind of, sometimes my husband's my sounding board, and he's like, just go for it. So yeah, I'm sure I probably bother him too much every once in a while. But hey, read this post or go share my post. But
well, what I really like about these, satirical posts in general, and yours in particular, excuse me, is that they're very digestible. You're not reading a 12-page thesis on something. It's a very compact form, some longer than others, but for the most part, you get to the hard hitting parts right up front, and then there's always like nuance. Like I really like the way you kind of worked Liberty University into your post on the anti-trans thing. It's like, clever.
Yeah, sometimes I do like to, when I get toward the end of writing an article, I'll just think again, like what other things are connected, even like in a tertiary way to this topic. Like who could I pull in, or what other thing, just to sprinkle on a little fairy dust or whatever. So yeah, things like that are usually a last minute add to the article as I'm cleaning things up. So
do you have any favorite writers here on Substack that you follow? It doesn't have to be satirical. It just can be anybody.
So there is a trans sex worker in Amsterdam named Fusion, Fuson. I've been following some of the Fuson. Thank you. Fuson. And the writing is great. I love Brooke from Let's Not Date. Actually, she's probably the main reason I started my Substack, because I saw her posting her Substack on Facebook all the time. So Brooke from Let's Not Date is just wild. Are you familiar?
I was on Facebook. I didn't realize she was on Substack. So
yeah. So yeah, she's great. I'm trying to think. And then you mentioned, Melissa as well. So I'm trying to get, like I said, just in these recent weeks, I've started popping into people's live streams, and then inevitably I start reading what they're posting. Once I get a vibe for who they are, I do actually like seeing a personality combined with the words. It paints a great picture. So I guess I don't really mind the video too much, like you were saying, with it being initially for writing on here. So.
Yeah, one of my longtime reads, going back to, I grew up in South Florida, and back then we had newspapers. You could actually get them. That was normal. And the Miami Herald had Dave Barry and also Carl Hyacin.
Okay.
And they were humorous. I mean, and Dave Barry is just hilarious, and he doesn't do things that are satirical. In fact, he actually will say in his writing, and I'm not making this up, and for a while there, you kind of thought he was making it up because it seemed too outlandish. And then now that we have the internet, you can go and look up those things that he said. That was really real. So
it actually happened.
Yeah. I mean, his original post on his original article on the whale that they put dynamite underneath in Florence, Oregon, back in 1970, like 73 or 4.
Oh, it was earlier.
Yeah, and when you read his article, you thought this can't be real, because there was no way to corroborate it. Later on, there's actually a video. My dad had a video of it. It was like you could watch. They had a little countdown on screen.
Oh,
they put a half a ton of dynamite underneath a beach dead whale, thinking that would be the great way to dispose of it.
Oh no!
No, it didn't end well.
Nope.
No, and the video of it is even funnier than anyone could have written, because you can it's the news guy is trying to be like all straight. It's a news reporter from I mean, this guy was like there on assignment. Oh, it
probably got covered.
The thing detonates, and they were all moved back off the beach, and it's then pink mist starts coming down, and chunks of whale, and one massive chunk of whale crushed a dude's car in the parking lot a quarter of a mile away.
Dang. Oh,
and
my God.
When it was all over, there was still a significant mass of cetacean carcass on the beach. So, and so when you have to say that I'm not making this up, it's like, he wasn't making this up, but you are making things up. And that's what's even, again, it's like how being able to find the material these days, it's just like we live in a world where you do a double take, don't you? It's like, is this a real headline or was this fake? It's so crazy.
We should do a real fake thing sometime.
We could do a real or fake. I mean, yeah, because there's a lot of, I'm aware of at least probably 8 different satire sites, and I know there's a list online I came across before. There was like 50 of them, so I'm sure you could pull some that sounded real and mix them in.
Well, and the fun part is finding the real ones.
The real weird ones. They're probably mostly out of Florida though, so that might be the tip off there.
Well, the one I found just the other day was out of Seattle, out of Washington. where people were dialing into a government web or some kind of website, or not website, a hotline, one of those I need help with my business thing. And if you press 2 for Spanish, they didn't get Spanish. They got an AI voice speaking English with a very thick artificial Spanish accent.
Oh no.
And this was reported in the Associated Press. Like,
that's got to be on purpose.
And now they're trying to figure out what the heck, and it's been going on now apparently for a while. And so you read something like this, and my first inclination is, am I really reading this in the AP?
Yeah.
Because I'm like a fact checker. I'll go and see, is this real? I don't just consume a meme and call it fact.
Right.
I try to do that.
I share memes for entertainment.
Right.
Generally serious. Like, I made some memes back in 2016 after Kellyanne Conway said alternative facts.
Yeah.
And I did contrary images to like peace and put hashtag alternative peace on it, or hashtag democracy. I got something from Creative Commons, which is like a mushroom cloud, and I used the toxic symbol in it for the mushroom cloud juxtaposed in it.
Yeah.
And it says alternative diplomacy on it.
Right. So, gotcha.
So we got a couple of questions from the chat. Shayla asks, how much time do you spend editing, or does it pretty much come out the way you want from the beginning? That's a good question.
I'd say it really depends on, sometimes when I have an idea, like the idea is pretty clear cut for me and it's like a full story or like a scenario that I just know how it's going to play out. But sometimes I just have the headline, or sometimes I just have like a sentence. And then after that, I have to be like, all right, what the hell happens now? So, so I think The Onion falls into that too in other places. Like, I know the Halfway Post or Halfway Cafe on Substack here. He likes to post like just a headline, a bunch of headlines sometimes too. And that way you can get out a lot more. But The Onion will sometimes just do a headline with a picture and no story. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you get stuck. So I feel like, yeah, that's really what it is. If it's quick, it's because I get the scenario or like the theme in my head very clearly. If it's going to take a while, it's because I just have like a joke or the headline, and you got to kind of write around it and fill in the gaps. So, I guess, I don't know. I do use like a Grammarly check at the end for sure, because I've written for newspapers before and stuff, and like I've been in the room and everything. Everyone here is a journalist, right? Well, you still catch errors with everyone. So, like we're all professionals and we're all messing up. So, I definitely do that. I like to check my grammar and spelling, punctuation, just make sure we're not like last night when I posted that article. I had in the very last sentence the word was there twice. So you still miss things. Yeah. But yeah,
and so then, it's that.
And in the chats, it's pretty good.
Why don't you take that one, Nero?
Okay. Shayla asks, is it getting more frightening to write satire when we are feeling like our First Amendment rights aren't being protected these days?
I think yes. I've definitely in my head multiple times, and only really in the last 2 years have I started to feel like I'm not paranoid or anything, but I wouldn't be surprised if I'm like on some sort of like this person is a problem on social media list, just for the fact that like how I started really getting specifically targeted on Facebook for things that were definitely not violations. And then they put a really random goal. They said that we're not going to pay you anymore unless you hit this ridiculous goal for interactions. And then they hit me with all these throttles at the same time. And then right after that, I got this weird hack and they wouldn't talk to me. So I'm not saying something's up, but a lot of other people had something similar happen to them with large pages where they got weird hacks and then crickets from Facebook in that time period. If you followed Project 2025 and all that stuff, part of it was trying to clean up Facebook. And there is a guy that at that time came from Project 2025 to work on Facebook.
Yes.
And by clean up, you don't really mean it in the good way.
No. So I have a feeling I am on some sort of a list. I don't know. I'm not 100% confident. I'm not nervous about it, but I'm sure I probably am a troublemaker to some people.
Right. And I'm not saying that it's aliens, but
Exactly. Whatever it is, it could just be like, here are some profiles, because I'm permanently throttled on Facebook with 0 violations, and it's been
That's
quite a
just
while.
such
So I
crap.
get about 3% viewership, and that's it, no matter what. So I'm on some list, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to just say my decision to move away from that platform.
Yep.
I mean, I wasn't even writing. I was just using it for my photography stuff. I
Yeah.
don't regret it
Yeah.
because I looked at what I was getting from it. I mean, you were at least at one point monetized, which is really crappy because you were actually doing that thing. You know, it was a platform for your business. I was
Yeah.
just getting likes. And I would
Right.
put all this effort into posting things and sharing things. I'm like, no one
What's
is
the point?
doing anything to take that next step to say, hey, let's go out and take pictures with Jason. You know, it was like, and I'm like, so why am I doing it? Just so
Right.
someone can say I live vicariously through your post. Well, that's nice, but it doesn't pay my bills. You know? It's
Yeah,
like,
and you have a good point. It's funny, even as of yesterday, I was like, am I just getting rid of Facebook? And so, I mean, I feel like I probably will be bouncing. I'll be out of there. And then at that point, you might as well get rid of Instagram too, which I just wasn't using for months anyway. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, and Instagram was kind of turned into TikTok light. You know, it's all
yeah,
become very video oriented, and you know, it is what it is. It's fine, but you have to realize that the ownership of those places aren't necessarily doing things in our best interest. And you know,
right.
so at least
That's
for
the real
now, we
problem.
have this space here on Substack, which has been pretty great. I mean, just I think it's becoming a refuge for people to exercise free speech for now.
Well,
You know,
Right.
for me, it wasn't just that. Like when I actually started engaging with the Substack community, it's like my brain started turning on again. You know, like I was understimulated for a long
Right.
time. And the nature of my disabilities, I'm at home a lot. So not a lot of social interaction outside of my house because
Right.
I'm really in my house, except when I walk the dogs for the most part. So I was like, wow, I'm actually having real conversations with real people who are being authentic. You know?
Yes.
And it's not this
Yeah.
formative crap most of the time that Facebook and Instagram and all that had. And I really appreciate that about Substack. I hope.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Mm-hmm.
I'm just scrolling because I want to read some more of these, but yeah, I'm just your headlines are just I'm just trying.
I had
to
one during coronavirus that it's probably like my top 5 all-time viral. It blew up mostly on Reddit. It was like front page Reddit. It was during coronavirus. It's a mean headline, but it is what it is. Unaware of coronavirus, Nickelback continues tour of playing to empty stadiums. And that one got
that's brutal.
talked about on the Dan Patrick Show, which is like more of a sports talk radio.
Yeah,
show.
yeah, I'm familiar.
I remember seeing that hit my feed at the time.
Right, viral. We didn't. Yeah, is that on your Substack or is that
no? But I'm
okay.
actually slowly moving stuff.
Okay.
It just takes a while. Even
Yeah.
if they're not timely anymore, I think I'm gonna move them. I don't really know what to do, honestly, like, because I'm paying for a website, but I'm not posting on there. But I actually do have an entire shop and like merch on there and all kinds of stuff.
Sweet.
But that was for when, you know, I had 250,000 followers and people were actually going to my website. And now I'm like, why do I have a website?
Right.
So,
well, I'm going to take the liberty of reading your Confederate one because I'm cracking up at this one.
okay.
U.S. citizens destroy remaining Confederate statues after one cracks and candy spills out. So here's the article. It's a short read. This is really funny, and I'll put it in the chat as well. Charlottesville, North Carolina. Historians are calling into question the exact purpose of Confederate statues after one depicting a Robert E. Lee cracked while being removed, and 250 pounds of Civil War era candy spilled out. Historian Debbie Arnotto says it's quite likely they were meant to be treated like giant piñatas. Quote, if the people who erected these statues didn't want them to be destroyed, then why did they fill them with sweet, delicious candies? Arnotto stated while struggling to chew 150-year-old Necco wafers and jelly beans. Necco wafers are awful. Clearly, these figures were meant to be destroyed and then enjoyed. As
right.
of press time, thousands of people across the United States were beating the ever-living shit out of every last remaining Confederate statue to try to get some free candy. And
You got to
admittedly,
convince them somehow.
that's just fantastic. I'm gonna put that in the freaking chat because that's just too hilarious. And Necco wafers were never good fresh. They're definitely on the line between chalk and I suppose they're candy. You know,
that could be their new slogan, if they Necco wafers. I suppose they're candy.
in the early days of the internet, so I'm talking like 94, 95, so the internet was just a new experimental place. So people would just make a website for the sake of making a website. And we would surf the web in the lab because I didn't have good internet at home. It was dial-up at home. It wasn't even a thing. There used to be a website called the Bad Candy website. It was very rudimentary, and it listed like all the worst possible candies with these satirical these descriptions of them that are kind of like what you had.
Yeah.
And so it just brings back a good memory of thinking about like it had some of the tamarind candy, and that was where the double salted licorice, which is truly horrific, but Shayla would disagree. She likes licorice, but I'm not a licorice eater. But anyway, it's just
red vines.
Red vines aren't really licorice. That's the thing. That's why we like them.
that is valid as well. Yes. Yeah. But my husband one time made a very clear statement that we are a red vines family, and I haven't seen a Twizzlers since. So that's fine though.
You got the competition. You got the red vines versus the Twizzlers.
Yeah.
There's movie theater candy. You get that one milk dud that wants to that is a dud.
The one that stays with your teeth forever, or the one
okay. It's like you're eating milk duds, everything is fine, they're chewy, and then you get one that's like you just chewed a piece of lead.
Yes. Yeah. And it's staying right there.
Yeah, it doesn't go anywhere. Yeah, those are Tamara in the comment is Boston baked beans. Follow Tamara Casey in the chat because she's going to be our guest on this program next weekend. Same time, same place. So this will be really fun to talk. And she's going to be bringing us music, so it's a totally different genre next week. But
I just followed her right now. There you go.
Awesome. There you go. See, we try to lift each other up in this community.
Heck yeah.
So I have this random question on our list, but I'm going to ask it anyway because it's just sort of it's a cheeseball question, but it's one worth asking.
Okay.
Actually, Neuro, why don't you ask? Do you have the sheet up with the questions?
I do not.
Okay. Our random attempt at pretending to be organized.
I don't pretend to be organized. I'll be honest. I love
that's just more work, right? Pretending to be organized is more work.
Look busy, they're coming. Look, that look busy, Jesus is coming.
Oh wait, you sent it email.
I did. It was in your email.
Okay. Yeah.
We should play the Jeopardy music while.
I'm gonna paste it. I'm gonna paste it in the chat.
Well, you don't need to paste it in the chat. You just need to read it.
Okay.
I
just wanted you to read the question. The question's for David. So
okay.
The very last question on our list.
If you could go back to when you were starting out, what advice would you give your younger self?
In life or in regard to satire?
In regard to your creative projects. I mean, in life is a big question. We're not that heavy here,
Then I think honestly, I have a really basic answer for this one. It is because of what happened with losing my account with all the followers. I think it's very important to have more than one way to contact whoever's following you. If you're trying to grow a following, I think I deeply regret not having a giant email list or just really pushing for people to cross follow on other platforms. So if you're a creator, make sure you like on Substack here, I think you actually can download the email list, I believe.
Yes, and I have subscribe. Just because. just to be
So I'd
safe.
recommend you download that every once in a while if you are getting a lot of followers. But yeah, I think that's a huge regret for me, is putting in 18 years and then losing almost 250,000 followers.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So I wish I had a way to find those people again. And these days you have to pay to play on social platforms. Usually you got to pay to get in front of people. You got to pay to boost your posts. And it didn't used to be like that. So yeah, if you can, just make sure you always have more than one way to get in touch with people. Maybe that's email. I don't know.
Well, you know, as someone who's done a lot of been doing this online, I mean, my whole business has practically been virtual, like the whole for a really long time. Email addresses are gold, and
Yeah.
you know, now I have a very strict policy of I don't sell them, share them, whatever, unless it's like the only time I've ever done that is like if someone, if I, in the past, like I've done a workshop with somebody and people came in from them and I get their emails because they attended something I did live, but I'm not, you know, going on, because your email list, the direct email, straight up is the best way to contact and reach your user base. And I know it's annoying because we get bombarded with emails, right?
Right.
And you know, even on Substack, I mean, you can turn off the email notifications and just leave them in the app or on the website, and that's okay too. But I would post on social media 6 ways from Sunday, and then I would send an email blast announcing a thing, and I would get people signing up for.
Yeah, the email's where it's at, especially if you are getting dinged or violations on social media, then no one's seeing your posts. So what do? You shoot out the email. And I'd say on Substack, if you look at least for me, if you look at the back end, the stats, it looks like at least 60% of my views come from email.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's solid. It's you try not to overdo it, right? I mean, we have to find that balance.
Yeah, exactly. Just like your posts, maybe don't like tell everyone every thought, you know.
Oh, but where's the fun in that one? So
that's the
anyway,
unsubscribe situation. Yeah, but
well, we have reached the top of the hour. Wow, we're already there. So this has been really fun. Is there anything else you would like to add?
I think if you haven't yet, everyone's got to get out there and, you know, get to the protests, but be safe. You know, if you haven't joined a No Kings, it's time to do it. If you're not speaking up for trans people, now is the time to do it. Don't sit there. Go follow trans creators, repost them, share their message, share their story. As you know, a gay individual who didn't have a lot of support growing up, it feels good even to have a stranger say something. So if you can, guys, go out there and get vocal, support, and we are in those times we hoped we'd never be. So let's act accordingly, right? Unfortunately,
I don't want to live in interesting times anymore. I'm done with this.
I don't either, but I think it's time to step up. So,
and
hey, Neuro and Jason, thank you so much for having me. Like I said, it's been fun.
I'm glad you were able to join us. This has been really fun. It's a great way to get back and do something that isn't so heavy coming back into town. Now, due to some
1 year again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah.
Due to our limited technical prowess, sometimes we get screwed up. But down there in the chat, I did put a link to your account. So please, everyone, if you're there, go follow David at You Ready Grandma on Substack. Do a search for You Ready Grandma. It'll come up, and subscribe. Do that and start getting some lighthearted content in your feed that isn't always just doom scrolling, right? So we all need this. This is the kind of stuff that helps us get through these times, and we really appreciate it. So thanks again for being here on the Misfits Muse. We will be back, I think, next week with our guest Tamara Casey. Until next time, I'm Jason Odell.
I'm Nero D.
All right, and we'll see you real soon.
All right, bye-bye, everybody.